Israel, understandably, is in a traumatized state. Now, if you're in a traumatized state, you need real friends who say, wait, hold on. What's happening now will have consequences that may be difficult to heal, difficult to build new relationships in the neighborhood. But regarding the hostages, I think they've set themselves, unfortunately, the government, two incompatible targets. One is to eliminate Hamas, and the other is to rescue the hostages. I can't see how that's possible. What's desperately needed now, as I say, is a complete end to hostilities, and so proper negotiations can get underway. First and foremost, save the hostages, but equally save the 2.3 million people in Gaza who are now living in a human catastrophe.
Well, Hamas wants the release of all Palestinian prisoners, thousands of people, including those who have killed Israelis. Is that palatable to the Israeli government?
Well, at present, of course, it's not. Now, in explaining why hostages are taken, I in no way endorse it, but it was the habit to take soldiers hostage so that you could then use that as a leverage to release prisoners, Palestinian prisoners in Israeli jails that wouldn't get out otherwise. What is totally abnormal in this situation is for civilians to be taken, and particularly the elderly and the young. We know that's immoral, it's wrong, it's a war crime. Now, I think that was recognized very early on by some of the political leadership of Hamas, and they wanted to, as far as I understand from conversations, wanted to hand back all the civilians without preconditions. But of course, if you have a situation, as we've seen in the pictures, and the reality of Gaza now, to move people around, and especially the numbers we're talking about, it's impossible to guarantee their safety.
Do the families receive any information about their loved ones while these talks are happening?
Well, I was speaking to someone today from Israel who has his cousin at present being held hostage, and they got message from the two elderly ladies that were released that they saw their cousin. So that was reassuring to them. But of course they're anxious, and I can understand why they are saying to the government, give priority to get our relatives back. We all would.
What's the role of Qatar in these hostage negotiations? It's already been involved successfully in the release of several captives.
Well, I think Qatar is playing an admirable role in that it's engaging and it's trying to do something practical. But as I understand it, the process is extremely complicated because they're dealing through a third party, the United States, so I'm told. So it's very difficult if you have three people, one communicating messages to the other and then to the other. It's a very complex situation, and I can't see how real serious negotiations can take place in those circumstances.
So without a ceasefire, how does this proceed?
Well, without a ceasefire, I fear we're going to see thousands more Gazans killed, especially children. And I think that every day the bombing goes on, the shelling goes on, I think the lives of the hostages are at risk. So it's in everyone's. I heard today the Pope called for a ceasefire. I think it is in everyone's interests to have an immediate ceasefire. And as I say, understandably, Israel is in a very traumatized state at the moment. But that's when you need real friends, friends who say, hold back. Don't continue this effort, the way the bombing, the killing, because you've got to live with your neighbors afterwards. The Palestinian people aren't going to go away, nor are the near neighbors of Jordan and Egypt and Saudi Arabia. Those countries, Lebanon, all of them will have memories of what we've seen on our screens every day.